So here we are. This is very exciting. We are with Sam and... Sorry, what's your name again?
Yeah, what is your name?
Oh, thanks. It's Paul. Paul Zerdin.
The amazing Paul Zerdin.
Can I just ask, amazing? Why amazing?
Well, because I do ventriloquism.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating. Sorry, carry on, Catboy.
It is hypnotic to watch. I feel rude because I'm not concentrating on you.
That's very lovely of you, and it's the ultimate compliment. Look at the doll and don't look at my mouth.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Yeah, because you not see his mouth moving. Let's have a look. Is it moving? Is his mouth moving? Let's have a look. Is it moving? Not really. And look, neither is mine. Over to you.
I can't do this because I'm just so captivated by it.
Come on.
You know, when people start doing ventriloquism, I'm doing the hand. When people start doing it, they always seem to do it like this.
Yeah.
Got a gear, all that.
Well, I think that used to be the old kind of the old-fashioned technique of being a ventriloquist, was kind of like keeping your teeth gritted and doing that thing. But then I learned from a ventriloquist called Ray Allen. He had an amazing character called Lord Charles, and he was the best ventriloquist I'd ever seen. And he had a very simple kids book, and it was all about just relaxing your face.
Go on then.
What?
Come on, teach us.
Relax your face, keep a little gap between your lips and your teeth, and you just kind of just start by saying hello.
Hello.
There you are. So
Hello.
you don't have to grit your teeth. Just relax and just.
My teeth are open.
And then you start. then you.
But I look like I'm in pain. I look like I'm constipated. You know, I'm trying to talk like this.
Yeah, are you?
And it's the voice. I can't do it.
Well, then you
anymore.
work on the voice, and then you start, kind of progressing with it. But the basic thing is just kind of relax your face.
Yes, look at you. Oh, you're so relaxed.
So when I got offered this interview,
You said no.
yeah, I flat refused it. No, I knew you from way back. I didn't know about the America's Got Talent because I've not seen America's Got. I've seen it now.
Yeah.
When I found out that you'd been on America's Got Talent, it's a weird thing when you're watching one of these talent shows and somebody who's an established artist appears on it, especially the British ones. Your singer from a boy band comes on or something. Was America's Got Talent for you to break America?
Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Come on, let's hear it.
Well, I kind of felt like I'd got as far as I could at home in the UK, and so I decided.
Oh, I just slipped then.
What? Did that hurt?
No, I'm all right. I fell off the chair.
I decided that it would be maybe good to try a different market, and so I thought I'd try America. And seeing as it's one of the biggest markets, I thought, just give it a go. And if it didn't work, I could come home and then, and people wouldn't know about it. Of course, you forget about social media, or I forgot about social media and didn't think.
Duh.
And so we went over and did the first audition.
At the Dolby Theatre.
Dolby Theatre.
Where the Oscars come from.
Where the Oscars come from. It went very well. Then we got through to the live shows, which that year came from Radio City Music Hall.
Radio City Musical, New York.
That's right. And then we ended up winning the show, and then headlining our own show at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas.
Planet Hollywood, Las Vegas.
That's right.
So there we are, Dolby Theatre Hollywood,
Yes.
Radio City New York,
Yes.
Planet Hollywood, Las Vegas.
That's right.
And now, here we are in Catboy's Lounge.
And a lovely lounge it is. Just had it decorated. You kind of glossed over very quickly there, we won America's Got Talent. Even as a seasoned performer, that's got to feel massive.
Yes, I mean, it was a very surreal experience, really, because I thought when it got down to the two, it was myself and, what was his name?
Drew.
Drew. It's good, isn't it, when the puppet can actually fill in the gaps?
Remind you.
I'm not mad, you know. It was me and Drew Lynch, and we were standing there, and they milk it and milk it and milk it, and you're waiting ages, what seems like a lifetime, and it was, quite a few minutes. And then when they voted for me, I was quite surprised. I genuinely thought they'd vote for him.
Yeah. I would have voted for him.
Was he better, Sam?
Yeah. Oh my God, he was hilarious.
Infinitely.
He's a very funny comedian, but they voted for me, and I don't know. They obviously, I think, America. If you look back at America's sort of, culture and sort of entertainment variety history, they love a puppet.
Yeah.
And of course the Muppet Show,
which you're a huge.
Jim Henson was my hero.
Yeah.
And mine.
Yeah. I thought I'll go and enter the competition and see how it goes, and I've been doing it for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
How long?
I don't know. I've been doing it for about 25 years.
We don't need you. I can do the interview.
Thanks.
It's closer to 30, Sam, to be honest.
He's done his homework, actually, haven't you?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I've tried.
At that time, I'd been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah.
And went there and just thought I'll give it a go. And if it didn't work, it didn't matter. And then when I got and started doing well in the competition, I thought, well, at least I'd like to be able to get to the finals just to get the exposure, because on the back of that, that can be enough. I never planned on winning it. Although they won't vote for a Brit, they'll vote for an American.
So it doesn't hurt the ego, well, you wouldn't, so it doesn't matter, but it wouldn't have hurt the ego being a seasoned professional at this, if he'd been knocked out.
Well, that was always the danger. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a sort of a calculated risk, really, because when we did the first audition, you weren't there, or you were there, but you were in the bag. I came out and I thought, what am I going to do?
You came out?
No, I didn't come out. I meant, I walked out on the stage.
Oh, right. I didn't know. It's something I did.
That would have gone viral.
And so I walked out on stage and I just thought, what am I doing? There's this voice in my head.
Could we hear the voice?
No, you couldn't hear the voice.
All right. But you could?
You could hear the voice, but you couldn't hear the voice at that time. It was in my head.
Right.
Just basically saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're crazy. You have a successful career at home, walking out in front of these very intimidating looking judges behind the panel.
Yeah.
But I just thought, I'll just go with it and see what happens. And that was kind of like that kind of kept me going. My ethos throughout the whole of the run was just to have fun and do what I do. And they seemed to like it. And I just thought, don't worry about it. But yes, it could have been embarrassing had I got knocked out, knowing that I've been going for a long time and was fairly successful at home.
Now, I feel bad here, Sam.
Go on.
He's talking about another aspect of your act, like talking about another woman in front of Sam. Am I all right to do that?
Yeah, sure, it's okay.
You do. Is it called the human dummy, the mask?
Yeah.
I love that you did it with Howie Mandel on the final on the show.
He was brilliant.
Really played up to it. Has that ever got you into any trouble?
Well, actually,
Come on, tell us.
you okay there for a minute?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll tell this story. Just you sleep. Okay. I have this power over him, and you're okay?
What happened there?
Nothing.
I blacked out.
You what?
I blacked out.
You blacked out. You couldn't say that then. You had trouble saying that, didn't you?
Oh, thanks a lot.
Okay, so I was asked to do a private function once for a birthday party, and it was a surprise birthday for this guy, and the wife had arranged this amazing party, this huge party in the Ministry of Sound in London.
Oh, lovely.
And it was a surprise. So he came home from work, and there was a bus waiting to take him, and all his friends went, surprise! And then they had a band, they had all sorts, and I had to get him up on stage, put the mask on, and make him talk and do this thing. And I got him supposed to be getting him to do dancing and that kind of stuff. And it's a routine I've been doing for a long time. And you can see that in...
Can I see it?
Oi, you weren't supposed to wake up.
Well, I got bored.
Okay.
We can see it on the QE2 show this weekend.
Thank you,
right.
Sam.
And so I put the mask on him, and I just thought, oh, he's not a happy person here. And apparently the promoter had told me that he had been furious that there was a surprise party. He didn't want a surprise party. He didn't want to celebrate his whatever the birthday was.
Right.
And he certainly didn't want to get on stage and make a ass of himself. And I was only, it's not malicious. It's not horrible.
No.
It's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And you could see it in his eyes. He was not happy. He just took it off and threw it at me.
Oh no.
But that's the first time anything like that has really happened. I mean, I'll get people up on stage during the show, which you'll see at the Theatre by QE2 this Friday and Saturday.
That was good.
I'll get people up that want to have a laugh.
Yeah.
There's no point getting someone up on stage that doesn't want to be there, because that's excruciating for everyone.
Is ventriloquism heckler-proof? I get a feeling it's heckler-proof, because how do you argue with a puppet?
I have to say, quite often I've had people shout at me, or they've been shouting at the puppet. And once you point out that the puppet points out that they are shouting at a puppet, that kind of shuts them up.
Without spoiling anything, if people have not seen various aspects of your act, it is so technologically advanced. It's no longer hand puppet. You do things that, well, my daughter watched you last night when Sam is unaided. And it's just, the first time you see it, wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you make this stuff? Do you have a man? How does this stuff get done?
Do you have a man?
Well,
First
back to
of all,
that.
you're
That's just a
coming out.
rumour.
Now you got a man.
I was a puppeteer many years ago on a Muppet film called Muppet Treasure Island, and I met lots of people and made lots of contacts. And one of the puppeteers and sort of puppet builders was a guy called Tim Rose, and he builds my animatronic version. So I'll have another version of Sam.
Yeah.
It's not the real Sam, though, is it?
No, I'm the only one.
And in the show that you'll see this weekend,
Theatre by QE2, platinumlist.net for your tickets.
I'll be using all three of them, and there's a moment where I'm operating them all at the same time, and we're doing a routine all together, but they're all kind of doing their own thing.
So when that's happening, are you doing? There's nobody backstage?
There's someone
That's
else
you.
helping switch things on and look after it, but I'm controlling and voicing them all at the same time, and that does get very confusing.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
No.
And I want to believe this, so please don't spoil it for me. I want to know what your house is like, and the reason for this, I see ventriloquism as vaudevillian. I grew up on that stuff. I love the Victorian theatre and Derren Brown. Our family are huge fans of Derren Brown.
He's brilliant.
But when you see Derren Brown's house, you expect Vincent Price to pop out from under the stairs. He's got an house that looks like a Hammer House of horror
Right,
film.
okay.
Is Paul Zerdin's house a Barrett home somewhere in London, or is it ventriloquist dummies everywhere?
It's a little 3-bedroom cottage in Wimbledon, and it's nothing special.
It's quite nice, though.
It's quite nice.
Sounds nice.
Aren't they nice then? Those not tying in the trunk, under the stairs.
You don't walk in and the door knocker, the door knocker comes to life and says, hello,
Yeah.
who goes there? I love
Paintings
that.
following you around.
I'd love that. Like a moose head on the wall that watches you and then starts talking. That's the sort of thing I'd like, but it's actually really quite dull.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't talk to them when I'm at home on my own, apart from if I'm rehearsing a routine.
Right. Yeah.
Or during lockdown, though, I was watching a cookery show, and there's one that has this very patronising voiceover, and that's sort of explaining the obvious, saying David is chopping onions, and just explaining everything you could see. So I started doing that voiceover in my house just to keep myself. I was on my own at that time during my lockdown.
Had it not been during the pandemic and lockdown, you would sound crazy, but
Yeah, but you can kind of
everybody
go
went
with
through it.
because everyone was going a bit stir crazy.
You have a partner. Mm-hmm. How does your partner feel about your job, the puppets?
You get on all right with her, don't you?
Yeah, I like her, actually. Yeah. This one, she can stay.
Oh, okay. You approve.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually a dancer and has been in musical theatre for most of her professional working life. So she understands, the business.
But she's not you're not having your beans on toast and she pulls a puppet out and starts...
What's he doing? No.
Has he been used in arguments?
None of that, but she does actually, she's very good at like ideas and things. And
Oh,
so
really?
I'll say, what about this idea? And she'll bounce ideas around. So she's actually, probably slightly crazy like me.
Because it's a strange one. I think if you're like you, the best ventriloquist on earth, which I think you are.
Are you making him say that?
Yeah, take your hand out. As a teenager, you started this when you were, what, 10 years old?
I started doing magic probably from about the age of 7,
Yeah.
and then I started doing ventriloquism probably a bit later, but I was already doing puppets. I had loads of puppets.
As a teenager, girls tend to want guys who play football.
Yeah.
And, are a bit
I
more
was
brusque.
interested in magic and dolls.
You've got a top hat horn, a doll on your hand. Did that get you girls as a teenager?
No, I don't think it did. Although at the time when I was doing my GCSEs, and I was the first year to do GCSEs, and I was doing close-up magic in restaurants and bars, and that was very popular with the ladies. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I got my first TV spot when I was about 17, and I was on a kids program called it was Tricky Business. It was a kids magic show.
Right.
Then I did a spot with my previous puppet, which was a bit like Sam, on a show called Hangar 17. And as soon as you've been on television, that seems to, people go, oh, you get recognised from TV.
Yeah.
That is some sort of weird thing.
It's the golden ticket.
Yeah, and it's very odd, isn't it?
Women suddenly become accepting of the puppet and the card tricks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
But isn't it funny, though? If you think about what I'm doing, here I am, I've got my hand up.
Oh, that's great, that is, isn't it? Oh, that's great!
And that's all it is. And yet, when it comes alive, people do start to believe it's real, and there is something about it. But I look at myself and I think, well, I'm in my 40s now. Is that cool? Or so as I get older, I think it's going to be. I know it's kind of been acceptable because puppets are on talent shows, and Britain's Got Talent and America's Got Talent. There's lots of ventriloquists, and people think, oh, it's quite a clever thing to do. I think it'll get to a point, though. At what age do I suddenly look a bit sad?
It seems to have done a turnaround. It used to be it was 1970s end of Pier, variety shows, then with alternative comedy, although there were some great alternative comedy ventriloquists in the 80s, but then it seemed to take a bit of a turn, but seems to be back now.
I think it's all kind of cyclical, as they say.
Yeah.
And I think also a lot of people, having worked at the Comedy Store for the last 20 years, I would have so many people, I'd be closing the show and people would come up to me afterwards and they say, oh, when we heard there was a ventriloquist on, we thought, and then we didn't realise it could be funny.
Yeah.
And they were like, wow, we'd never seen anything like it.
Have you ever been to the Vent Haven Museum
Stop touching my foot.
Oh, sorry.
in Kentucky?
Yes, I have. I went there and I was a kids presenter for GMTV when I first started at about the age of 19. That was my first proper TV gig, and I worked for Disney made the show. And I went there and did a report from there for GMTV.
Because it is incredible. I saw it in the Nina Conti documentary.
Yeah.
And I mean, for Halloween, what a house to have. The kids would be terrified of going anywhere near it. But as a memorial to ventriloquists, in the sad event that you ever did pass, which we obviously know, Sam, is never going to happen, Would you like to see your puppets there, or where would they go?
I don't know. I've heard of ventriloquists having their puppets buried with them when they've gone, and I've always thought, ooh.
Do you have a coffin shaped like a
little one.
cactus with a piece of extra wood?
A little. It just, yeah. I just think it's a bit weird. Would it go to a museum? I don't know. I'm not sure really. I think if I had,
I love the idea.
If I had grandchildren or kids, I think you'd probably just
Yeah.
keep it in the family. However, they're made of rubber and latex and stuff, and they don't last. These ones don't last very long.
Rod Hull, an emu, of course. The doll just got the emu got left, I think, in his attic for a long time, and then
it sort of fell to bits, didn't it?
Yeah, I think somebody bought it recently.
Okay.
So.
And have given it a bit of love because this kind of stuff perishes. The vent dolls that you see in that Venthaven Museum are all kind of traditional, fiberglass or paper mache.
Yeah. Have you ever used your voices, or the throwing your voice, or the distant voice? Have you ever used it to mess with anyone in a takeaway or a taxi or?
I have. I'm going to put sound down for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
What are you doing?
We're losing so many viewers now on socials. It's great to see that hand, by the way. I don't think I've ever seen that hand.
Hello.
It's great to see that hand.
I did a prank show some years ago, a hidden camera show for Sky, and it was a magic show, and I guested each week doing different vent pranks. And so one of the things was to see if people would talk to the puppet. So I went into a restaurant and I had a table for two and had my old man character, and the waiter talked to the puppet and he took his order.
Right.
And then got into a conversation. We had another one where we had a hotel room and we put hidden cameras around, and then ordered room service. And then the guy came in and had a conversation with the puppet, and the puppet was complaining that it wasn't what he'd ordered, and the guy got into an argument with the puppet. And I remember thinking, oh, this is like comedy gold, and it was the funniest thing because he was talking to the puppet. And I don't know if he thought I was mad, just was going along with it, but he was genuinely having a proper conversation. Yeah. Then we did other things that didn't have puppets, like going into a lift and pretending there's something wrong with the lift. And so, there's like a speaker and an emergency thing. So I pressed the button and you could hear this. Try and do that again. Hello. It's the aircon from this hotel, actually. It's made my throat dry, but it'll come back in time for the show. Theatre by QE2 this Friday, Saturday.
Platinumlist.net.
Thank you, this is good. And so I did this. Hello. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. And there were two other guys in the lift. Are you okay? And they were like, yeah. And they thought there was something wrong with the lift. And we had a bit of a sort of conversation there. And then things like, but the first time I really freaked out my nephew, and he's a mad fan of Harry Potter. He had a Harry Potter book, and I grabbed hold of the book and just went, Harry Potter. Like that. And then
I hope the mic picked that up, because that was incredible.
took the voice out and went,
oh my God, that's amazing.
He didn't sleep for 3 weeks.
See, this is why I can't do this. It's like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. I'd be in prison, because I'd be doing stuff like this at the wrong time all the time.
Well, yes, you can have fun. I mean, I have done it. I was on holiday a while back, and I was on the beach, and I went and ordered a couple of drinks from the beach bar, and there was a big, what do you call it? Is it a conch? Like the big kind of shell.
The shell, yeah.
And I picked it up, and I was fooling around, and my girlfriend, afterwards I said, oh, I wish you'd filmed that, because that would have been a great little hidden camera thing for my YouTube channel. That's the Paul Zerdin YouTube channel.
Platinumlist.net.
Please subscribe. And I picked it up and just went, hello, like that. Hello. Hello, I think it's for you. And I gave it to the barman, and he took it, and he literally went, hello, like that. Seriously, it was a proper reaction. I wish we'd filmed it, because it was just absolutely the perfect reaction.
I can't even think I'm watching you do it, and I can't think where you're doing the talking from.
We can do it. It's basically, this is the constipation bit that actually...
I should be good at this then.
Pretend you are constipated, and you're on the loo, and you go, like that. Yeah. And that's how you get that voice.
I'm talking. I can't do it. Yours sounds way further back.
Well, you kind
My
of
constipation seems to be where the tongue is.
You use your stomach muscles, and you kind of bring it up. And you can make it look like it's an echo, or like a distant echo. Hello. Hello. Don't know. It's just
mind-blowing.
You're sort of limited by your own imagination. You can do all sorts of things, really.
Paul, it's been wonderful to spend some time with you, to interrupt your break on the beach.
My pleasure.
Hope you're loving Dubai. Hope you're getting to spend some nice time out here. Paul Zerdin, Hands Free Theatre by QE2. Tickets available platinumlist.net. There is a show Friday night. Show starts at 8. Saturday night 8, and there is a matinee. Show starts at 2 o'clock. Kids over 7 can get into the matinee. Kids over 12 for the evenings.
It's a clean show. The Saturday matinee and the Friday and Saturday night shows are a little bit naughtier.
Well, the Saturday night show, if I'm anywhere near the front and that mask is on me, it will be a lot more X-rated than it normally is.
If you are in the front row, you will definitely be involved.
I don't want front row tickets.